Hello everybody, welcome back to the railway. Now today I thought I wouldn't do another review because I thought I'd try and save some because I know I've thrown a lot at you in the last few weeks. So if you like those, don't worry, they will be carrying on, but I thought I'd just take a break from doing reviews and show you a bit of running. So I'll be doing that in a little while. But first I'm going to go through some updates, first channel updates and then some layout updates. As you can see, I'm sitting over here today just for a change of scenery. But yeah, so first, channel updates. First, a big thank you to all of you. The channel's really grown this last couple of weeks especially, but really this year it's grown hugely. I think by February of this year we'd already topped the total number of views for last year, just in the views from January and February. So yes, it's grown really hugely this year. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's watched, commented and liked. Even if you haven't got a YouTube account and you just watch the videos and enjoy them, thank you so much, because that's making it all possible. But anyway, I've got some thank yous to give out. Now, a lot of you I've given shout out tos already, and you're probably quite sick of getting shout outs, to be honest, especially because this channel's nothing special, but I would hate to leave you out, so I'm sorry if I've already given you multiple shout outs already. But yeah, these are people who have commented fairly recently. I haven't been able to include everybody because there's like over 100, but these are the people who have commented more than once in the last few weeks. So I'm just going to read them all out. So hello to everybody I read out. Thank you very much for your support, and I do come out and check your channels out as well, and I enjoy all of those. So anyway, hello to Brian Hughes, Trainmaster 15, Adrian Pullen, GWR23 Studios, Cliff, of course, Janice and Cliff, been there right from the start, Peter Shaw, Simon Young, Adam Tandy, Tom Jensen, William Prince, Anthony Railways B, of course, Mackie2680, Chams123 and the Hornby Kid. So thank you very much to all of you. You're the people who've really made this possible and have made me want to come up and keep making videos. So thank you very much to you. Also, I'm going to talk about a little series of videos I've come up with, which is going to come out every Sunday for 7 weeks. I've made 7 of them, so I don't know what this is. Yeah, I've made 7 of them. Now it's called Diesels in the Garden. It's going to be a weekly video, very short, about 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes long. It won't have any talking, it won't have any messing about, it's just going to be a quick running video. Now I know lots of you prefer to see a review and hear a commentary over it, but I also realise that lots of people might not like having to sit for 20 minutes and watch a video. So I thought it would be nice to provide some shorter videos for people who just have a couple of minutes to spare. But maybe want to get into the hobby without all the guff, without talking about sprung buffers and little brass bits on the roof of locomotives. So I thought I'd do that just as something different. So I realise that it won't be everybody's cup of tea, but it's only going to be once a week, and I'm certainly going to carry on with what I do up here. So yeah, you'll be able to see them running around in the garden. I've got them up on the table. Here's a little clip from the first episode with the Intercity 125. Just a little running video, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. I've got the idea from Cliff actually, who used to run his locos in the garden. It's just a it's a nice change of scenery and it's a nice thing to do. So hopefully you'll enjoy those. There's only 7 of them, and it's the diesels because I don't pay much attention to the diesels. So that's your opportunity to see my diesels if you'd like to see them. Right, on to some layout updates then. First things first, the less interesting thing. This wind turbine's been looking very grotty in some of the more recent videos. Basically what's happened is somebody's walked through here. It wasn't me, I don't think. It could have been. I'm not going to say it absolutely wasn't. I don't think it was me. They've walked through this door here, and where the turbine used to be, it used to be sort of more there. And they've obviously caught one of the sails. Do you call it a sail? Yeah. They've caught one of the sails, and it's moved the turbine, and it hadn't fallen over then, but then when I gave power to it, I think it must have tried to turn and pushed itself off from this cabinet and knocked itself over. This was about a month ago, but it's been looking a bit nasty ever since. It fell over, and you can actually see one of the sails, as it were, stabbed through this station and damaged this house a little bit, and this guy won't stay up anymore. I keep replacing him in his spot, but he won't stay there. It's my bad paperwork. Paperwork, you know what I mean. Come on, it's just out of reach as well. We'll see if he stays there. So yes, I've touched it up yesterday with a little bit more white paint. It was around this area, wasn't it? It didn't look very nice at all. I mean, it's not a very good model, is it, in the first place, but at least there's no black spots on it now, because the material underneath was black, which was a bad idea from the start, I suppose. But yeah. Second, this was about a month ago as well. I've got some new buildings, but it's only now the time I'm happy with them. So we've got the school, and they put my buildings to shame. They really do. I didn't build these came from a model shop. We've got the school, which is actually an old-fashioned card model, but it's a very good one. You know, it's a good quality one. We've got this sort of cottage. I think it's a cottage. You could use it as a shop, but it's more. Well, it's not a cottage, is it? It's a mansion. If anything, it's a very big house. There you go. And the others are down this end, so I'll take you down there and I'll show you those. Now, you could use this as a station building. This one, I'm not sure what it is. It's got trains on it. Let me zoom in. It's got some like I don't know if you call them posters. I think that's a Hornby Flying Scotsman by the looks of it, perhaps. And then there's a Pullman coach on the other one. But you could use it for anything, couldn't you? And that one's got a light inside it. Now these two here I've modified. It's this one, and you would have seen this if you've liked me on Facebook, because I posted a picture of this. And it's Sam's model shop that sells models. But I've now put some people on the benches and added a little bit of scenery to it, just because it's got this silly bit of plastic sticking out the side, and it was a bit empty, just some woman on a bench, and I felt sorry for her really. So yeah, put some bushes there, put some trees down. I've still got loads of those flipping trees I made. They're not too bad, but yeah, I've put them to use. Then this one is like a shop. Again, I've modified this one slightly. It says Sam's Trains there, and there's a Hornby poster there. That used to say Coca-Cola or something, but I don't like Coca-Cola, so that had to go. And I forgot to show you this one as well. You'll see these two buildings, by the way, in those Diesels in the Garden videos. There you go, Triang Railway still going strong. I just knocked those up on Photoshop and printed them out to size. So, a little bit more building work for you, should be interesting. I've also ordered some more of those grass tufts, and I'm, along with that clump foliage, you know, this stuff, I'm going to work on covering up these lines. I might put a row of hedges there, for example. There's another one there, isn't there? And there's also this, which is my pet hate. I don't mention it very often because it's very annoying to me, but the paper mache I did curled at the edge. I don't think it's still curling, and it's done it a bit on this one as well, especially if you're watching a train like this. It's like this weird mouth. So this one I'm pretty sure I can cover up with a bit of clump foliage, but this one I have no clue what to do about it. So if you've got any ideas, please let me know. I think if none of you have any better ideas, I think I might just make like a few rocks and put them in here to make like a rock face, and then we could put some plants on it and things to make it at least blend in. But yeah, it really does look bad and I don't like it at all. So suggestions on a postcard if you have a better idea than me, which is probably not difficult. Okay, let's go and do some running. Right, so I've gone for Triang, and I've chosen 4. I don't know if they're my favourites, but I'm certainly fond of them. So I'll show you them very quickly, but I don't want it to turn into a review. Now, with hindsight, I should have really chosen to do this video sooner, and I would have let you choose which locos I was to show. But I only decided to do this video yesterday, so I'm sorry. But in the future, if you think that's a good idea, I can put some choices up and you can choose what I run. But yeah, let's get on with it. So, the Triang M7. I think it's a Triang. I hope it isn't an old Hornby one, otherwise I will look like a fool. But that's the better of the two that I've got, and it's a lovely little 042. Gorgeous. And then we're at the opposite end of the spectrum with a big Pacific. This one's not Owen Glendower, this one's just a straightforward Britannia, which I think is in Brunswick green, isn't it? Using my new knowledge, I bet it won't be now, I bet that'll be wrong. But one of you will tell me. You see, I'm trying. See, now I know this one's black. I'm quite good at telling which is black. This is the B12, of course. A 460. In very good condition. Number 61572. I love that. We'll get that running. We'll get them all running. And then the 3F in the red gloss from Triang, which I think was one of the first Triang locos I got my hands on. Possibly. Now I think if I'm going to be very clever, I can run 3 at a time. And the way that works is I have 1 on the outer track, just trundling around happily, and 2, and they have to be of a similar speed on this inside track. But it might be a pain to film it, because what I do is I have them both chasing each other, and if one gets too close, what I do is I open this point and let it trundle through here, and it gets to this isolator rail here, and it stops. It stops dead, so it's not a smooth stop. And then what you do is you shut this point again, and then you come over to this point and open it and make the loco wait about here. And then when you want to release it again, at a good distance apart from the other loco, you just open the point and let it go out. Now, of course, I'm not going to have much fun doing that videoing. I'll probably have to invite one of my friends over to do that for us properly, so that I can film and he can run around like a headless chicken. But I'll try it today. I might have to leave the camera somewhere, or I can run about with it like this. But either way, it's not going to be a very smooth performance on my part. But yeah, which shall we go with first? Shall we try... let's go with the 3F and the M7, and then we'll add one of these. We'll take one off and add one of these too, and we'll get 3 running. So we'll start with just 2. Right, well, they're both loaded up onto the tracks. I've stuck with the old theme, the old-fashioned theme, and I've put on 3 Hornby 00 tin coaches, and for tin they're very nice. They've got interiors and things like that. They are very heavy though, so you need quite a strong loco to pull them. Now the 3F will do it. Perhaps I should have waited for Britannia, but the 3F will do it quite nicely. Now the M7, it's a bit odd, but I haven't run any intercity coaches on this channel for a long time. And at heritage railways you do see them sometimes, an old steam train will pull intercity coaches sometimes, just to get the job done. So that's what I've done there, just for a bit, a bit of something different. I don't want to keep using the teaks and the Pullmans and things like that. So yeah, that's what they're pulling. We'll get those 2 running now, and then we'll perhaps take one of them off, put both of these on together, and we'll try the little trick with the points and see if we can do it. But first, let's get these going. And the M7. I do like these coaches actually, but I just don't run them very often because they've got funny couplings on them. It's alright. She's stuttering on the points and not coming uncoupled. Right, so we'll stop her there then. Only a quick run. We'll get her running again soon. I think we'll take the M7 off because she's facing the wrong way for what I want to do next. So that's the one we'll swap. Let's bring her back. There she comes. Brilliant smooth runner though. I do like the M7. Right, so we'll keep the coaches, but we'll pull them from the other side. So I'll do this on camera because it's, you know, it's real life, isn't it? So I'll leave it in. Of course, I wouldn't do this in a review, but just because it's a bit of fun today, I'll show you. So we'll pull from this way. It works better this way, I tend to find. Well, because the B12's smaller, we'll use the smaller train. That'll be the logic for that. We'll perhaps do 3 or 4 coach rake for Britannia, and might have to get some of the cliche coaches out again. Zoom in on her. We'll get the coupling hook sorted for the tender. There we go. Hopefully she's going to work okay. Shall we just try her first? I think we should. Right. Let's try. Oh yeah. And this is what a service every 6 months can achieve. She's on about half power and she's going this quickly. Look at this. I'd forgotten she could run this well. I didn't think she was so good. I was a bit worried about running her. But no, that's brilliant. That's very smooth. Now hopefully Britannia will be at similar speeds when they run together. Right, I've got the Great Western coaches out this time, so we'll transfer Britannia onto the main line. Well, onto the line she'll be running on at least. There we go. Of course we want the tender. I might be better off coupling the tender first this time. Yep. I'll make sure that's on, as it seems to be, and we'll couple up. And what I've done is I've moved the B12 up onto the outer circuit, and if I open both the points onto that little auxiliary route, I can run the Britannia on its own, even though the B12's on the separate line. And this is a very safe system actually, because if I open this point and the point at the other end of this little route, the B12 will stop. One of these points has to be shut in order for this to carry on, otherwise it'll stop. And even if you leave this point open by accident, the other loco cannot carry on and go back onto the main line without the other point being open first, thanks to that isolating rail. So it's very safe. So we'll leave this one open and I'll go and open the other one. There we go. And now Britannia should be able to go through the tunnel route. Let's see if it works. Very nicely. There she goes. And it's important they do this properly, otherwise if they derail in an inconvenient spot, it's going to cause a crash. So you've got to use reliable locos for this, but that's working very well. Right, so it's time to start the 3F again. I'm sorry they're all running in the same direction. It's probably bad planning on my part, but there we go. That's the 3F going again. And now let's get the B12 running too. Let's shut that in a second. And we'll shut this one too. And now they're both running on the same line, happily. And now all we've got to look out for is for when Britannia catches up B12 or vice versa. It doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon, but it invariably does. Here they come. Racing round. B12 there, just catching up to Britannia, slowly. And then we'll, tell you what, we'll take the B12 back into the siding on the next lap, because it looks like she might start to catch up. I'm not sure who's fastest yet. Is it Britannia or the B12? Probably the B12. So, B12's on her way, so I'll flick this point. There you go. I said B12, didn't I? I meant to. She'll come up here, and she'll stop just here. There you go. And I'll shut this point again. And then we'll just wait for Britannia to pass. Then I'll open this point and get her nice and close. Like this. Stop her there. Make sure she's nice and close. And then just before Britannia comes, I'll open this point and get her to go again. And then she should stay a good distance away from her for a good long time. So we now have to wait for Britannia. So Britannia's coming down the line now. I'm going to open this point and the B12 should run away. Of course, don't forget to close it behind her if you do that. And Britannia comes along as well. There we go. Hopefully she is the slower loco. Now I've done that. Here's Britannia flying along. There goes the 3F. I suppose it's quite interesting to run all the trains in the same direction once in a while. There's B12. And Britannia should be just behind. I'm sorry about the dodgy camera work today. It's just a bit difficult to do anything else. Yep, here's Britannia. Now I think Britannia is going to be caught up next time. So we'll stop her. Right, so here's Britannia coming into a stop at the isolation rail. I'll just have to stop her there briefly while the B12 goes past. And there we are, now she's onto the other side. And you can see what a lovely loco she is. Now it won't be a very smooth start unfortunately, but I'll show you the view from just here and she can go through the tunnel. And now Britannia's just waiting behind this point. Because she's slower than B12, she'll have to go after. So here comes B12. I'll get ready, open the point. And this is a great way to have fun running the locos. It's more than just seeing them run. You have to actually plan ahead and make everything work. So it's fun. I'm sorry about the squeaky coaches, by the way. It's developed again. They shut up for about a week and now they're squeaking again, so I don't know what we'll do. But here comes Britannia again. Running very well. I don't think this one has smoke, which is why she runs faster. Now if you try this kind of setup yourself, I wouldn't recommend setting the locos to run at any higher than half speed, because it's quite unpleasant for them to have to start and stop at full speed, you know, if it's an immediate start or stop. There we are. Get the B12 out, stop it, go around to the other point. There she is, waiting in the right spot. But yeah, so if they're at full speed and you're just suddenly making them start and stop, it's not going to do the motor any good at all. So you want to keep them at a sensible speed. And of course it's not an ideal way to do things either. But before DCC, this was the way to do it, I suppose. So now we'll do this once more and then we'll stop. We're just waiting for Britannia to come out from under the bookshelf, and when she gets a little closer I'll let the B12 run. And of course Britannia will slow down once the B12 starts to move. Here it comes. So let's open it. So it's slow down slightly, and I'll change the point again, make sure we're not having any crashes, and there she goes. And here comes the 3F, just in the nick of time. Doing very well with those very weighty coaches. They're very, very heavy, they are. And there's Britannia following the B12, and if we look further down we'll see the 3F. There you go. And she's not having a very stressful time of it, she's just running around happily. There we go. That squeaking is really bad actually. And it looks like the B12 would have just caught up Britannia, so I'll stop her there. And then when the Dealey 3F comes along, we'll stop her just a little further ahead. So yes, a little bit of a different video today, I suppose. It's not really been about locos, really, it's been about running them. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing that. We'll be back with some reviews again next time, and where I'll be trying to polish up the camera work a bit more. But today was just a bit of fun, a few updates as you would have heard, and yeah, a little bit of running with some lovely old locos. Don't forget, the old locos are the best. They might not look it and they might not sound it, but you'll always have more fun with them. Well, I don't know, you might not, you might disagree, but I do anyway. Well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you very soon. Don't forget to check out the diesels in the garden on Sunday, and I will see you very soon. Thank you, everybody.